Well, hey there. Today, what I want to do is go over the CNCF annual survey, sort of for Kubernetes stuff. I think it came out, I don't know, several days ago, last week. My friend Rita, who you've probably seen on this program a few times, was telling me I should write an article about it, asking me. And I write a lot of survey articles and things like that, so it's always enjoyable. So what I want to do is I haven't actually even looked at it yet, but I thought we oughtn't to go over it and take a gander, and then if I don't run out of time, which I hope I won't, uh, you can write along with me. I'll just write a little short analysis in the chat. There's a link to it, and I'll put a link down below if you're watching a recording of this. But first, I want to show you something that I've got going on here. I might have to get up and take care of this because I've got this bean stew going on. This is the black bean cam here. I'm going to be able to check in on this every now and then, see how it's going, kind of see what's happening. Now let's get a let's get a zoom in here. It's looking pretty good, huh? It's my son's birthday today, and he surprised me recently by saying he wanted black beans. He calls it black bean soup for his birthday. It's so nice that he likes it. I love black beans too. So we'll be checking in every now and then on BeanCam there, see how it's going. I did a little tiny video recording while I was making that. I don't know if it came out very well. We'll see what the deal with that is. Okay, so let me come over here first. Do a little this, that, and the other. Come over to this guy. Sorry, I'm just setting things up here. Yep. Love the soup. Okay. So, let's turn this off for now. Oh, I don't know. We'll keep it on. And then let's go back over. Let's go check out the survey. Now, I think what I'll do, if you remember the way that I like to do these things, I always find it nice to kind of just read through it as a first pass, right? And probably what you'll see me doing is one of the first things I'm going to look for is the demographics for things. And I have my little notepad over here. I'm going to keep notes. I guess you can't really see it, but I was told I should have a huge head. And now I do. So I will actually move the notes over here and just kind of open that up when I get around to it. We'll resize this a tad. All right. And actually what we can do is also hide the sidebar. All right. So there we go. First cover page. Pretty cool. Three-dimensional things. Love it. And you can see their title, The Year Kubernetes Crossed the Chasm. Now, what's the chasm? That's a reference to Geoffrey Moore's Crossing the Chasm. Or I don't know, maybe it's not, but that's what it evokes in my head. And Crossing the Chasm, yeah, it can apply to like non-software companies and tech companies, but if you know it, I would be very careful about realizing that it's primarily about enterprise software companies. I think, lean startup thinking is kind of the good consumer version, kind of addendum to it, well, whatever. And there's also Inside the Tornado and all sorts of follow-up books. When you write a successful business book, you want to get some follow-up ones. Definitely. That's what you want to shoot for. I can see that my hoodie today is very pilly. Although I'm just going to figure that that's how it's supposed to look. So, see, because it's my old VMware Tanzu hoodie. So I figured I need to be wearing that. But it doesn't look very good. Anyways, the chasm is, essentially, I was trying to go over this with Tiffany the other day, if you remember that. Let's bring this browser up and let's, just so I get it right. And chasm is one of those words that I cannot spell. So crossing the chasm is based on the diffusion of innovation curve. Another highly related concept is Gartner's hype cycle. So let's see. Yeah, this is good enough. So essentially, and again, this is very much so, at least the use cases I remember for like enterprise software, right? And kind of big software. And very similar to diffusion of innovation curve, but you've got people, just coming up with new things. In this case, the early days of Kubernetes. You have the early adopters, and this is kind of sort of where Kubernetes, we'll see what the survey says, has been for a long time and maybe sort of still is. We'll look at what the survey's opinion is, but as far as actual deployments, it's definitely not in at the apex of usage here. But I think as far as like market acceptance, as they would say, it probably has crossed the chasm. So you have your early adopters, people who put up with betas and doing things the hard way and so forth and so on. And then the early majority, I always forget what distinguishes early from late, but the early majority are just regular enterprises, organizations who are adopting things. And you can see, I think that's the y-axis. I think the y-axis is number of people at that stage, kind of the distribution of people over the lifespan here. And then you've got the laggards who sometimes don't do things. Let's see if there's a better. Yeah, pretty good. So that is your crossing the chasm there. So basically what they're saying is Kubernetes is mainstream accepted. So let's see. Key takeaways. I usually skip over those just because I want to like read the survey. Now, you will remember that when let's check in on BeanCam, see how we're doing. A lot of people would say, I think correctly, that you need to get it up to a simmer. I don't know. I might go check on it and try to get it up to a bubbling simmer, but I feel like things are pretty good if there's some smokiness coming in there. So let's go back. Now, you may remember, dear listeners, that what I pay attention to a lot is how many tech companies and size of companies there are in the demographics. So the geographic spread is not too shabby, and company size. So this is good. So you've got 20% of the companies, I think you could call that a fifth, are very big companies. And if you do the old above 1,000, you get up to 30% or so. So that's good. And let's see who's answering the questions here. Oof, these colors are kind of hard to differentiate, but thankfully they've got the numbers here. So SRE in software architect, full stack developer. So this is very notable, right? You don't really have a lot of managers or executives here. So this is the first major thing I want to note down in the, because I think I will come back to this. So demographics show that most respondents are practitioners, not managers, let alone executives. I've found that there's often a large mismatch between what executives think is going on with an early stage technology or like Kubernetes. There's a large mismatch between executives and staff think is going on. Executives are often aspirational in their we're using it responses. Executives are often staff can come off as more optimistic because they don't know about all of the Kubernetes usage going on and only see their own usage. Executives, however, tend to hear about all the problems going on, and so might have a might say that things are more difficult. All right, so there's a pretty good, like, I think it's notable that a lot of the respondents here are, ooh, what can we do there? Ah! I don't know what's happening now. We've gone into a weird zone. So let's see. Let's do 100 or less. That's what I want. I think it's good to track. So, I mean, 99, whatever. 99 or less. That's mildly annoying. I wish it would be like 101, but that's cool. So let's see, 11. Let's see me do math. 12 plus 14. That is 31. And then can anyone there add that up for me? That would be really helpful because I can't do math. Let's say, okay, 34, 44, 45. I think that's 45%, right? Let me check my math. Let's see what I'm pretty sure I know what I'm saying. 45. I got it right. Good for me. That education's really paying off. So 45% are from companies, yeah, from small companies. 99 or less people. All right. And then let's say 7 plus 9 is my math skills are very embarrassing, especially when I'm talking out loud. So plus 20%, so 16, 36. 36% from companies of 500 or more, with it's 20%, right? With 20% coming from very large companies, 5,000 people or more. So there's a lot of weight. I don't know how to describe that. So a lot of what we're seeing here is from smaller companies, followed by very large companies. I should say organizations. That's a little trick in what I do, is instead of saying companies, I say organizations to include the old nonprofits like governments and the like. All right. Let's see, that's a pretty exhaustive demographic thing, but you got to study this if you want to make 2020 report. Oh, wait, what do we got here? We got two things. Oh, part 2. I'm going to focus that part on the Kubernetes part. So this is just for the for the Kubernetes part. That's too bad that these are mixed together, but that's fine. So you've got 202. You got a lot of respondents. Not into the whole comma thing over there. By the way, these look pretty nice so far. Again, for other technologies, individual contributors, as it were. All right, so here we go. We get into the meat. So 90% of organizations are either using Kubernetes. So that's a, definitely has some mind share and acceptance there. Jumping ahead more. Yeah, well, that is interesting that Africa is using it more. In Europe. So again, well, maybe not again, if you've never heard me talk about this, but whenever you're looking at usage things, it's important to distinguish between, to use some phrases for it, market share and penetration. And this is like, strategy talk. And market share means basically, if you were to take all of the applications running globally in the world, right, all of the enterprise applications, so to speak, and what percentage of those is running on Kubernetes versus VMs versus Linux versus whatever, that would be market share, right? So your total pie, how much does Kubernetes own of that? Now, penetration just means that for any given group, an organization here, penetration just means that there's at least one usage of Kubernetes in that organization. So you can see that if you're one of these 5,000 person companies, if you've just got someone like messing around with Kubernetes, that's why it's important to not confuse market share and penetration, right? So usage is nice, that's good, but penetration is nice, sort of just usage, but knowing market share is what becomes actually even more interesting. But so here, yes, in production, you can see there is a lot of production usage, right? So I think it's notable that if all of, looking at all of it, that we definitely, let me make a distinction here. Let's see. When they say crossing the chasm, not the chase, let me see how to spell chasm. It's just, there's no vowel there. I don't like that. When they say crossing the chasm, that's most apparent when you look at how many organizations are running Kubernetes in production. For all regions, it's above 50%. For some, it's well above 50%. Africa tops the list at 73%. North America at 55%. And Europe, sort of surprising 69%. I tend to think Europe is often more conservative than North America. Did they distinguish the US? I love Oceania. That's good stuff. Currently using, okay. So they have plans for it. That's fine. Kubernetes has crossed the adoption chasm. Whoa. Now I forget. It's probably a slash data estimate. Let's see if there is. So, all right. Let's look up. I think so. Slash data total number of developers. If they don't have it, no, not useful. Oh, here we go. That's 2019. Boy, they should just have the number right there, right? I mean, that's kind of what you're here for. We estimate that there were just under 3 million developers out of 13 million. Okay. So let's say slash data in 2019. Get a link going in here. Let's see if we can find something more recent. Oh, there we go. In 2019, and then, so we've got 20, they believe is increased in October 20, an increase of 14%. So 2020, I know it sounds like I'm being critical of a bunch of stuff, which I guess by definition, technically I am. But when I say things like the following, it's more just like, well, here's a style and a thing to think about. Whenever I read something like this, I'm always a little annoyed because I want to know what the absolute number was, not just the 14%. So like, I've got to reverse engineer what that number is if I want to do a chart, which I often do if I can get lots of data together. But whatever. Really not a big deal. Increase from 23 million in October. Oh, okay. See, they do exactly what I was saying. So I'm a dunderhead there. So let's see. So it was, so 2020 is 24.3 million, up from 21.3 in 2019. I don't know what I'm talking about. Wait, that is 2019. So then where was this? That doesn't line up. Was that 2009? Huh. That's too bad. Oh. Has this audio been off the whole time? Well, that's always exciting. It's supposed to be on. Let me try reloading this. Huh. Okay. This is no good. What have I done wrong? Can anyone in the chat actually hear me? So is it just OBS being weird? If I've got that on. Oh, I've done it again. Okay, everything's actually fine. For some reason, I had the mute on for my speaker. Okay, so back to this. You know what? I am just going to go with this register story, and we do not have to care about fixing that up. So what do we got here? Now, they make a distinction between hobbyists and whatever, and I don't know, do they have slash data? We reckon they're 15 million globally. Do they say... Digging deeper, it turns out the biggest... Yeah, this is kind of a nice... Professionals. There we go. Let's see if we look at their actual stuff. Ugh. Okay, well, here's what I want to do. So I'm going to say, go verify an actual PDF, finding the number of professional devs versus hobbyists. However, that said, let's see what percentage. So what percentage of developers globally, market share, would be using Kubernetes? Now, it's bad to mix your sources for numbers, but whatever. So 24.3 is 2020, and then 5.6. So that would mean 23% of all developers on Earth, not in outer space, are using Kubernetes. Now that's a lot. That would be definitely in your early majority. All right. Back to this. Hey, you know what we should do is let me connect to the black BeanCam here. Let's check in on it, see how it's doing. Oh, look at that. Got a little bubbling going. I don't know. I'm a little concerned about that bubbling. I'm going to go lower that, okay? Let me come over here to total. All right. I'm going to go do some stirring here. Maybe turn down the heat a little bit. Be right back. All right, well, I'm glad I checked on that. Let's see what's going on. Let's go back to our screen here. Turn off black BeanCam. Oh, wrong cam. I got myself a little bit of the juice, so I can season to taste. See what's going on there. I'll let that cool off first so I don't burn myself. All right, let's go back to it. Now I'm going to ignore the cloud native technologies thing for now. That would be a good separate thing. So that's all fine and dandy. It's coming down with mainstream status, solidified, starting to go under the hood. And less fiddle let's see. Or as Joe Beta used to say, becoming boring. I once did a video trying to define what this becoming boring thing was, but it was pretty nice because it was in front of some bikes that I found. But I don't know. I didn't know if I lined up with the thinking very well, so I never published it. Hey, there's Chris. That's exciting. Between those reporting container usage versus Kubernetes usage has been growing steadily. There appears to be a growing void in understanding. Oof, boy. That is like a small percentage to sort of be like drawing a huge conclusion from. Is that 93 versus 96? I mean, that's like margin of error territory. But it is that's pretty good. Let's go check in on the black BeanCam. Because there we go. Now, I didn't soak my beans. People love doing that. And it's true. It softens them up some, for my son. But in reality, I don't know. if you forgot to soak the beans, it'll be cool. Just cook them a little longer. And it also makes the broth a lot thicker, which I find nice. Use certified Kate's hosted platform. So let's go with this under the hood thing. The CNCF side part of it, 76% use certified Kubernetes of those. Okay, so here you go. I feel like I just went over this kind of information. I wonder if I did, and I'm just forgetting. I don't know. That's good bean juice. So what do we got going here? So these are the public cloud things. It's done by region, which is fine. So let's focus on Europe. So Europe likes Amazon. I guess the bubble size is share in the column. So that's why 37 and 38 are different. Or that's number of respondents. Oh, yeah, that's kind of weird. A little distracting, but that's fine. So people, let's see. Basically, this is like pretty, where's Google? Yeah, I mean, this matches with what I tend to see all the time, is that it's basically AWS, Azure, and then Google is the way the ranking usually pans out. So let's take note of that. When it comes to running Kubernetes in public cloud, the ranking is consistent with what I usually see. AWS, Azure, and then in Google. There's some variation between regions. Especially of course. So let's see with Asia. Oh, that's Australia and Asia. Oh yeah, no. But even in Asia, they use AWS a lot. I mean, there's not really that much variation. All right. Meanwhile, part 2 of our survey revealed using serverless technology. So, Cloudflare workers, Google Cloud Functions. See, I would have ranked this. Yeah, well, that'd be kind of a political decision. But you could figure out ranking this without just choosing one of them. Yeah, when it comes to serverless, survey revealed 39% are using serverless technologies. Okay. Let's put that in there. I don't quite know what to do with that yet. Serverless. Oh. Ugh. That's not what I want. I want to copy this. So nearly 90% of users leverage cloud managed services. Meanwhile, nearly 40% of containerized companies using that, up around 35. Lambda functions are invoked. Yeah. Meanwhile, so what is this saying? So cloud managed services up from nearly 70%. Containerized, so are starting to move up the stack. Oh boy, we got something to read here. So mainstream, So then you have these containers has begun to disappear under the hood. Awareness of wider business. So there's a strong interest in incubating projects. A proportion of containerized companies that use Containerd. So this is basically growth. So usage of these products. You know, what is Containerd? What is Containerd? Okay. Oh, well, everyone wants simplicity. I don't know who wouldn't want that, but don't use their products if they don't want that. Officially graduated. So what is it? It's available. Complete containerized. Okay. All right. So it's just a way of dealing with your containers on the host, bringing them up, doing the life cycle of bringing them up, down, and checking on them. Pretty core to what's going on with Kubernetes. So that's had a lot of usage. Oh, and that's it? Okay. You can also view... Now, I feel like... I have read this before. All right. Hold on. Let me log into GitHub. Maybe we can see some more data. Isn't that like a engineer-led group to have GitHub be the place that you would get more data? That's great. All right, so, oh, look, they do have the raw data. Let's see what it is. Oh, that's fun. Well, so what is this? This is 2021. Okay. Let's download this. And then let's open up Google Sheets. Let me come down here to hide all my other Google Sheets. And then, they put the create new thing in the lower, when you're creating a new Google Sheets in the lower right, which I always miss. Not miss as in it's not there, but I can't find it. So 2020 part 01. All right. Then let's import that. See what we got here. I have no idea what this is going to look like. Wait, did it not download it? Oh, that's something else. Oh, good. It's just Excel. So, yeah, that's good. While we're waiting, let's check in on BeanCam. I got that simmer down. I still see some movement there. I think I like that simmer a lot more than the previous one. All right, here we go. Wow, we've got some... See, this is great. You don't always get this this level of data. So, are you part of the end user community? What's the size? There we go. Oh, it's by region. What is the So what one is this? Oh, here we go. So this is, let's, as they say, embiggen this. Does anyone say that? I don't really know. So software. So there you go. That's important to pay attention to, is that a huge percentage of people are in the software world. What would that be? 40% in Europe? That's why I think you see a lot of usage of Kubernetes, more so than in America, because a lot of the people who responded in Europe are from engineering companies. And then in the States, you have less people from tech companies. Let's see. Telco is, I generally combine like software and telco, but it's not always a good idea. But let's go over here. And first of all, what do we want to do here? Let's lock this row. Freeze. And this way, freeze one column. That way, when we scroll over here, we will still know what region we're talking about. Nonprofit. Okay, so software. What is that column? Number of people who responded? Yeah, so the average is 30%. But in Asia, see, and that's interesting. In Africa, where, there's a lot of usage, not that many software companies, real estate. But in Asia, Europe, North America, you got a lot of tech companies. So let's go back here and look at software technology. All right, so I'm going to put that in here and say that a lot of respondents are from the tech industry, particularly in Europe and Asia. Just keep that in mind when you're thinking about mainstream adoption. I don't usually think about tech companies as mainstream in their technology choices. However, even after this, I don't think there's any refuting the chasm crossing. Overall, the average is 30%. Let's see, overall geographies, the average is 30%. With Europe at, what were we? All right. With Europe at 40%. We'll say 40%. And what is Asia? 43%. All right. No problem there. That's good stuff. What is your job function? What would you say you do here? Marketing student, developer relations. Oh. My buddies. Data scientist. Yeah, you can't really even select manager. I guess engineering manager. Yeah, that's fine. All right, let's keep going. What most accurately describes your role? Well, okay. Is there a manager here? Assistant. All right, what do we got here? Okay. put this here? So what I want to note somewhere is, where did I say about individual? Some geographies. Let's maybe just do an average. Do they have an average? Because that would sure be nicer. So total, right. So this is the row we want for manager director. Let's see. Across geographies, 14% of respondents were management types. That goes up for North America. I think that's good enough. Growth marketer. How often do you check in code? What do we got here? A few times a week. Multiple times a day. Wow, the Africans are really doing it. A few times a week. So that's pretty good. How often are your release cycles? I guess really checking in code isn't that big of a deal. So most people, a lot of people are on weekly, monthly, or less. Let's see. So if we do monthly is 18%. Weekly is that 31. We'll round it up to 19. 31 plus 19. We got 50%. So that's worth noting. Around 50% of respondents say they release code to production at least monthly. And then what is weekly? With 31% doing it weekly and 18% daily. This shows that users of Kubernetes or so I'm not sure if all of those people are using Kubernetes, but this shows that this group of people who are interested in Kubernetes are focusing a lot on the goal I care most about, speeding up the software release cycle. Kind of some rough notes there. What time is it? I'm going to pick my daughter up today. See what you would like to see. I don't know if this is a cross tab, but it'd be good to cross this with, how many things do they have here? It would be awesome if you could cross this with usage of Kubernetes, right? So how much production Kubernetes usage these respondents had. So maybe if there's someone from the CNCF watching, give me more data for that. Or maybe it's in the GitHub thing. Let's see, is that the only... Yeah. I think that's the only thing that you get. Are release cycles manual or automated? Both. Yeah, that might be something interesting. Which of the following data center types? Oh, only private cloud. Again, Africa. Quite an odd... Their results are quite different. So what you would say here, only public cloud, hybrid. They don't use the multi-cloud business there. Don't know, other. Okay, so hybrid. All right. So let's go with, was it 46? 46% of respondents are doing multi-cloud or hybrid cloud, as the survey puts it. The rest are either in public, are either in private cloud or public. 25%. 25%. On to question 11. If you use public cloud or hybrid approach, oh, I see what the distinction they're making of multi-cloud. Whatever. That's kind of an odd. So by multi-cloud, they mean multiple cloud providers, not doing private cloud. Ugh. Yeah. They use just one. How many clouds does your company use? So 20%. So 36. Yeah. So we could say, so 20 would be 80, 79. Further, 79% of organizations use at least 2 public cloud providers, if not more. So let's do 28 plus 13. 28 plus 13. 41. 41. With 41% using 3 or more. Multi-cloud is definitely a very real thing. Let's check in on the black beans. How are they doing? Ooh, pretty good. You know, I have some bacon blocks in there. So we're might have to do a little bit of skimming to get the fat off, or I could just mix it back in. I do like some bacon fat. Okay. On average, how many machines are in your fleet? That's kind of interesting. So how big do these things get? I'm going to look at the averages, which is kind of dangerous, but I don't know. So where are the big numbers? Basically, in the 6 to 100 range. I'm going to skip over that for now. Although that would be a good indication of market share, right? How much usage is there? Kind of, sort of. Please indicate if your company has future plans for containers for any of the below options. Proof of concept, development, test. Okay, so here we go. Please indicate if your currently uses or as future. That's kind of annoying to mix together, but whatever. So production. Oh, they have it. There you go. Good. All right, so let's note this, because that is always, long ago, that used to be a favorite thing to ask people is, are you actually running Kubernetes in production? Yeah. On average, is at 63, so we can round up to 64. I don't really like that roundup, whatever. 64% of respondents are running Kubernetes in production. On average, across geographies. Yep. Okay. I guess the ones who, yeah. So then you have 30% have future plans, which basically, yep, that's where you get your 93%. Now, the next question, how many containers does your organization typically run? Now, how is that different? How many machines? Okay. So there was machines, and then we had containers here. So here's the bulk of usage. Is that right? Between 50, I mean, I guess up to 1,000. So that's kind of interesting. Again, this would be more interesting to see. Is it correlated, cross-tabbed, pivoted, whatever? It'd be interesting to see this narrowed down to company size, and also type of company, right? Those are kind of the slices. I think in Google Analytics they would call this a segment. Those are the kind of segments or slices I always want to see, is type of company and company size, because I think there's a lot of nuance between those things. But you know, because this is across company size and type of company, these numbers are interesting, but less so. All right, what are your challenges in using? Oh boy, they didn't cover this at all. All right, so this is where what you need is a pie chart. Let's make a copy of this. Yeah, thanks. What? Copy chart. Paste chart. Okay, now let's see. We want a pie chart. Where's my pie chart? How come I can't select? Oh, there we go. Pie chart, pie chart. Donuts are fun. Let's go for a donut. Oh boy. Then we got to do this business. Switch rows and columns. Yeah. Okay. However, what does use row 3 as labels? That's correct. Aggregate row 3. No. So the range, let's see what it says the range is. So all I want is 10. Z3 to Z9. What does that do? Z3 to Z9. But all I want is the average. Let's see if I delete these if I am messing myself up. So what I want is, oh yeah. I don't like it when Excel is thinking this way. All right, so let me delete this. How do I do a chart to get what I want? So I basically just want, I used to know how to quickly do this kind of stuff. It was pretty awesome. Here, I think, let's see if this does. I don't know if Google Docs does this, but there used to be a paste transposed. Yeah. See? Now we're doing it. Then will it let me do this? So then we'll come in here. Fancify this. So basically what I'm doing is despite using Excel so much, I am not the best at knowing how to get it to do charts. So I'm trying. You just kind of like, come on, it didn't do it. That's not cool. So transposed. Boo. Let's see if it likes this way better. Go in here, paste. Instead of like figuring out the right way to do this, I am going through and formatting the data in what I think should be the automatic way to generate a chart. Where is... Come on. I just want to clear those rows. So let's see about that. Good. And then I think we just have to move this down one. Uh-oh, I missed one. So 34. So what was other? Oh no. See, this is the danger. Okay, so complexity. What? Why is this not done? Did I delete that? Let me do a check here. So is this, are they just doing... Is it average? Average. Yeah, that's fine. Huh. So what is that figure? Is that not what I think it is? What is that a figure of? What is 31.94% in this context? Average. Of this. Well, then what is that? Let's see what I've done here. Maybe I... Oh, there we go. At some point I deleted that. So this is frustrating that I can't get this correct. So what... Let's see, if we go back... What are these? So total... Is this doing... So what are the total number of answers? Well, that's a silly one to do. Or maybe it's not a silly one to do it with. Let's go back to the problems. How many clusters do you have? How do you separate your application? Oh, right. Let's start from the back. Does your company use any certified installers? What are they using in here? Oof. And then here is any certified. So these are your hosted things. What is this? I didn't build. That's all I want to say. There's no other medicine that can say it at present. That must be translation things. That's all I want to say. Okay. If you built your own solution to autoscale, okay. And then if you are not using Kate's autoscaling, okay. Do you currently plan to do auto? Boy, they really love the autoscaling. How do you like to package things? There's what we like over in VMworld. And then most people, a lot of people are using Helm basically. I forget if a build pack and a CNAB are the same thing. If you add those up, you're doing all right. Managed Kubernetes offering. So what environment do you target during local container deployment? In your inner loop. Multiple teams, how do you separate them? So that's kind of interesting. How do you, okay, there we go again. People use namespaces. How many production clusters? Are you using Kubernetes? Yes. Okay, here we are back to this. Now, why is this not doing what I want? And what is this a percentage of? Let's go over here. And so if we say, so 1982. Let's see if that's what is going on here. Service mesh. So if we say this divided by this, what? Oh, sure. So that, oh, okay, so there we go. So that is, see, I don't know math. That is the total people there. Yes. So let's see if we do a pie chart here. All I want is this row and that row. And then let's do a chart. See if it figures it out. I want a donut. Column 2. Use row 3 as headers. Nope. Ugh. I really don't know how to do a spreadsheet. That's terrible. Hello, Whitney. Do you know how to make spreadsheets? Or a chart? All I want is a pie chart. Here, I'm gonna try my sloppy thing again. And just try to transpose the things. If we go over here. Let me paste this to get it in the format that I want. And then let's get rid of these things. This is probably why when I was doing corporate strategy at Dell, I stayed up late a lot of nights. Let's see how the black beans are doing. Oh, my camera got bored and stopped. It's starting back up. What I've actually got hooked up here is I'm sharing the screen of my iPad because the Arlo thing doesn't work in HomeKit. Because whatever. Oh, yeah, look at that good bubble going on there. I like that. All right, let's go back and do some more thrilling cutting and pasting. All right, so we got that. And then let's transpose, paste, transposed. Oh boy. So I think maybe if can we collapse these? Where is unjoin? I forget what they call those. Is that group? Or join? So where is group? Open shift. There's a way in spreadsheets where you're basically, you ungroup columns, right? So where is define named range randomized? No. 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 Well, let's look at it this way without it being a pie chart. And maybe later on I will go and actually do this. So here are problems people have with Kubernetes. What is this? Basic, complexity. Well, sure. And then training, always an issue. Finding vendor support. So finding vendor support is the fourth one. I feel like there are a lot of vendors, I would say all of them, who offer vendor support. So maybe what they mean is vendor support we find priced well, and also that's capable. No matter what the price, if they're not capable, you're getting ripped off. Oh, this is killing me. How do I, let's see. Is it merge? That's what these are called, right? I know I said I would do this later, but this is, yes. But this is one of my great powers, but usually my downfall is I get too obsessed with actually doing the things. Okay, now we can come in here. I'm glad you like the black BeanCam, Whitney. As I was saying earlier, it's my son's birthday, and he asked me to make, as he calls it, we can go back to it, black bean soup, which I would just call black beans, but I guess it does look like a soup. You can see it's boiling down a lot. I need to go scrape the sides in just a little bit, but I finally got this in the format that I like, so I'm getting a little excited here. All right, what we're going to do, we're going to try to go for an auto pie chart again. Let's see if it gets confused with those blank lines. Donut. Yes. Okay, there we go. Now, no, it's doing everything good. Let's go and customize this and say, where are the pie chart? Nope. Chart and title. Don't want that. Where do I tell it to put the, let's make it three-dimensional. Pow! That actually makes it worse. It's hard to tell what it is, but I want to put the slice label value. And then black is not really the best color for that, but that's fine. Would white be better? No, white would be terrible. Okay, so here we go. Now we got this chart. This is what we've been working for. Let's make that, well, let's move it over to here. Come on. There we go. So here's your complexities. So, pie chart's not the best way, but lack of training, difficulty in choosing an orchestration thing, finding vendor support. Oh, come on. Why is this not sorted? Oh boy. Here, I'm going to make my own sheet. How do I insert a sheet over here? See, next time someone asks me what it is I do for my job, I'm going to send them this video and be like, if you're into that, you have a great future in developer relations. Now, of course, I don't actually do developer relations, but that's okay. I mean, I don't know. I guess you could say I do some developer. I do that, just not as much as lots of my coworkers do. All right, let's go in here. I think I do developer and other people relations. DevRel, just by its name, is like a little limiting, which by no means by no means we should not use it, because what else are we going to do? And people actually know what that means. But also, you know, you have to include operations people, product managers, executives, blah, blah, blah. So I said that a pie chart is not the best for this. Let's do just a good old bar chart. Furthermore, let's sort this. There we go. Now this, it's kind of odd they didn't have this in the survey. Maybe it's in an extended one. So let's do some chart formatting here. Title is amount. What? Oh, right. No. Series. The difference between a series and a whatever, I never really understand. There we go. That's what I want. And then let's get the color to be black, because we're on white. We might, we got Roboto text. That's nice. Default label font size. That's too big. So you want to be able to read it with 45-year-old eyes, which are mine. Okay, so let's see what we got here. Speaking of 45-year-old eyes, let's get this guy up. Now, can we have it not cut it off? No. Whatever. So complexity. So now, lack of training is the number one thing. Difficulty in choosing. Complexity, monitoring, security, logging, networking. Culture changes with development team. Okay, service mesh. Finding vendor support, scaling deployments, storage, reliability, other. So lack of training and complexity. So what, boy, that was a lot of analysis to get to this point. So let me put this in here. So my sheet of the raw data, such as it is. You have a good Tuesday as well, Whitney. TechRel. That's pretty good. Let's check in on the beans. Oh, yeah. I'm going to have to go scrape those soon, like I keep saying. So, what are the problems? We can see this in the raw data. So what was the question? What are your challenges in deploying containers? Maybe that was in the PDF and I just skipped over it. Text color. Let's make that black. Big. There we go. I don't really need that amount of precision or whatever. So let's bring this back over here. Ugh. Really? Copy chart. Let's see if this works. Yes. Okay. As ever, skills and training top the list. Interestingly, security is way down. Well, security, or as much as people talk about security, it's, what is that, the fifth? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's the fifth concern. Still high, to be sure. And my favorite, complexity, comes in at number 3. So that's pretty good. See, this would be great to see year over year, but that would take a tremendous amount. Maybe not a tremendous amount, now that I think of it. It'd be cool to see this year over year, how it shifts. That could be the whole article. That could be the whole article. For the amount of work I would put into it, yes. So this is challenges chart. What time is it? Oh, I got to wrap up here. So, are you using Kubernetes? Yes, in production. So we had that question 17. If so, now as I remember, okay. So here are the things I want to highlight. So let's see. Here's the writing part. Let me increase this font here so you can follow along even better. Let's see. Tanzu Talk. We'll call this the CNCF 2020 survey. What's wrong with your day, Thindle? Not turning out well, it seems like? How about this? Let me show you. Maybe this will improve. If you like black beans, I've got these cooking. I need to go scrape the sides some. In fact, I keep saying I need to do that. So maybe this will be fun for you. I'm going to go off and do it, and I'll be right back. You can see the action. Just wait a minute while I walk to the kitchen. It's not quite like, it's kind of like when Whitney walks to the light board, but I'm going to walk to the kitchen and use that big old wooden spoon there. And I'll try some bean juice too. All right. I think I got the side scraped down well. Let's come back over here. We'll bring BeanCam up here while I'm answering some questions. So to answer your questions, Thindle, they got some black beans in there, onions. Oh, I forgot to put garlic in. So this will be a great experiment to see what black beans without garlic is like. Probably way too many bay leaves, oregano, probably not enough cumin, and well, since it's for my son's birthday, who's 12, I didn't put a lot of chili in there, but I put some of that. Of course, you need salt, and I'll add pepper later. So let's see. I think it's pretty good. Let me see how the beans are. Yeah, after 3 or so more hours, they'll be perfectly good. Oh, also, I put in bacon cubes, basically. They were more like rectangles, which, let me look this up, because this is something my wife and I are always trying to figure out what the name for a three-dimensional rectangle are. Now, it's not cube, of course, as anyone who is watching me analyze the CNCF, Kubernetes and Cloud Native 2020 survey would know. A cube has equal sides, and a rectangle does not have to have equal sides. I mean, it has paired up. So let's see. Name for three-dimensional. Oh, there it was. Dimensional rectangle. Oh, hyper rectangle. I don't like that. That's not cool. So let's see. A three-dimensional orthotype is also called a right rectangular prism. I like orthotype. That sounds good. orthotype. In geometry, is also called a hyperrectangle. Maybe hyperrectangle is pretty good. I think I might go with that, a hyperrectangle. I'm going to send this to my wife. New phrase for 3D rectangle. Hyper rectangle. Easy to remember. All right. So to update you on how the analysis is going. Well, my analysis of the beans is that they're good. But the analysis, oh, you couldn't see that because I had BeanCam up, but that's fine. I think the key things is that, yeah, I agree with their analysis that there's a lot of mainstream usage of Kubernetes. I still don't know how much total applications worldwide are running on Kubernetes. I think they could figure that out, especially because they contract with Slashdata, who has that information, I hope. And then definitely if you see by percentage of developers using Kubernetes, that makes sense. Where is it? Oh, here you go. So they said 5.6 million developers are using Kubernetes, and that's out of 24.3 million, which I calculated this using math, is 23% of developers, which I think basically matches your diffusion of innovation crossing the chasm thing. So that's a good overview of, let's structure this article. There's more stuff in there, but I'm not going to go over it because I need to wrap up. So first part of the article, check their take that Kubernetes is mainstream. We've concluded that before in our own state of Kubernetes, and then put a little TK in here and say include encoded link to 2021. Because, you know, I like to track stuff. If you remember my detailed Google Analytics 2-part series, or maybe it was only one. I actually don't remember. Let's check these beans again. Oh, there's also chicken stock in there. So there you go. Yeah, I think a 3D rectangle. Definitely you can call that a Kubernetes. That's pretty funny. So I think the answer is yes, sheerly based on percent of worldwide developers, but also people running Kubernetes in production. I'm still not sure the percent of total workloads, apps that run in Kubernetes. So I'll stick with the 10% to 15% that I've been using based on Gartner and my own. I also enjoy the finger in the air. I call it wet finger in the wind analysis. TM. All right, so number 2. There it is. Sorry, I got some beans stuck in there. They don't really, they don't really do cuts by the demographics. So, briefly cover demographics, global coverage, heavy on tech companies as always, and what's the company size? Let's see. And let's see, you got 45% from companies with how many? What do they use? Less than 100 people. And let's see, 20%. 20% coming from very large companies, 5,000 or more people. All right. Also worth noting is that the majority is that most all, that's a very technical term, most all of the respondents were individual contributors. That is to say, not managers. And did I come across how many self-identified as management? Let's see if that's in the raw data here. What is your location? No, I don't know. What's the size of your organization? What industry does your organization belong to? Oh, here we go. What is your job function? What would you say you do around here? DevOps management, release management. Oh, that's funny. That's not really a manager. Sales, marketing. Okay. So let's see. Security assurance, engineering manager, 9%. DevOps management. That's a weird number. I mean, actually, is that true? Ugh. So there's a lot of architects. Once again, these are not really ranked. So why don't we... Oh, yeah, because they're across geographies. Good. So I need to check that. Huh. Let me make a note too. Let's see. Blah, blah, blah. Also worth noting are the roles of people. Now, did they put this in the summary? Job function. So they can see, oh, okay, so that's, yeah. If you can select more than one function, then things are not gonna get, it's hard to tell. Let's see. Okay. It's hard to tell if you can select more than one. Also, worth paying attention to is that most of the respondents were individual contributors. That is, not management. However, there were a lot of, what did they call themselves? Software architects. People could choose multiple job functions, so it's hard to tell which are managers and executives. So it's hard to exactly tell which are managers and executives. Whatever. Okay, so cover that. I think the demographics are therefore covered. To answer your question, Thindle, the survey was done by Slashdata, who, if you're not, the CNCF obviously has a big, not big, but they have a good contract with them because they do all of their survey things. And I forget, some episodes ago, I went over their stuff and not their some other survey. And obviously you need to pay them, but there's a pretty good assortment of free resources that you can download. Like this one, the state of developer stuff, but they cover developer stuff well. Like if I remember right, I think I figured this out last time I looked at them. They used to be a mobile app survey company and have since extended to like all developers. I don't know. Maybe they compete with Evans. Evans is the one who's done developer stuff forever, but they're kind of opaque, and let's check in on them. Evans.com. No, not Evans. Evans Developer Analysts. Evans Data Corporation. Let's see what they got going on. Yeah, and also their homepage design doesn't necessarily evoke a lot of confidence in their up-to-dateness. Now, that's really a bad way to judge things, but they're not spending money on the look and feel. Maybe they're spending all of their cash on the more interesting, valuable stuff. All right, so let's go back to kind of like the points I want to summarize. The tech industry. Okay, so this is good. So let's look at release cycles. Are always good to look at. All right, then I'll cover that. So let's see. So to answer your question, I work on the developer relations team at VMware, but I don't really work with developers very much. I work with other people you would want a thought leader with. And yes, I was asked to write this post about this survey, so I thought I would go through and look at it and write up some analysis here. You get a little twofer there. Do your live streaming for Tuesday, and then also work on some content projects at the same time. So let's throw this in, and then also with many people saying this is finally the year, also this is, let's see, whatever year we're in is frequently the year that serverless is going to take off. How is it looking in 2020? That's pretty good. Pretty good, actually. But as it notes, this is similar to 2020. So growth is slow. Okay, then let's check in on multi-cloud. Multi-cloud check-in. And then I want to put this complexity analysis in here. All right. What are the problems people face? Surprisingly, security isn't number 1. It's number 5. As ever, it's skills. As ever, number 1 is skills. And while number 3, complexity, might be too vague to do much with. Let's see. Number 3, we have complexity. A bit too vague to do much with, but it does confirm that there is that Kubernetes is complex. Then put in chart and spend time to do year over year chart of this if data is consistent. Let's see if that is included, how far back it goes. So we've got, that's pretty good. We got a 2021, 2019, adding 2020 survey. That's the first half. So we could basically do, yeah, three is pretty good over over a lot there. So wait, we have, no, I'm 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so we'd have four years there, which would, that's good. It's not 5, which is the best, which is good. So let's do one final check-in on the black beans, and then I'm gonna wrap up. Mouse is going wacky. Okay. Let me start this up here. There we go. All right, now let's zoom in. Oh yeah, those are looking good. Now you can see what's this is pretty low resolution, but you can see what's happening is, let me see if, oh yeah, I can move this cursor around. You can see what's going on here. You've got this nice skin developing on top. Now that, you want to churn that back into the black beans, right? You don't want to get rid of it because it's add a lot of character, I think they would call that, to your beans. We've got a nice simmer going down. You can see the water line, it's really reduced. It was way up here, right? Well, you know, maybe here approximately. And then it's really gone down, which is good. This is going to get you that very thick black bean sort of thing. And for those who weren't following along at home, I forgot to put garlic in, but I've done multiple flavor checks, and it's all still very good. So you'll have to tune in some other time to see what the result of this survey is. But hey, you know, if you've been watching along this line, you should really check out what we have going on in the Kubernetes space. You know, we've got the Tanzu Community Edition, free open source Kubernetes distribution. There's a lot of other stuff in there, just like you would have in a Linux distribution. It's not just the kernel, but there's a lot of other things. And of course, we have commercial offerings. I think, as we saw in the survey, only 16% of people are having problems finding support for the challenge. So people know there's support out there. There's you know, you can pay for enterprise grade Kubernetes. A lot more stuff gets added in there. And then we also have, if you're focused on getting your developers to use, I don't know, make it easier to use Kubernetes, which, as you may recall, we did see that skills and complexity are some of the challenges with Kubernetes. And I bet developers face that. Then you can use the Tanzu application platform. Another thing that you can easily check on. But, you know, just go search for that, look it up. I'm going to put a link down below in the archives that you can click on if you want. I don't know. That's where could you go? You could actually, I think, do I have this listed in the videos place? I need to fix that up. The answer is I don't. I haven't updated this in a long time. Let's see if you go to coté.pizza, where does that go nowadays? It goes to here. Oh, that's pretty good. So I'll update this. Anyways, check out what we got going on there. And that would be good to hear about. There was, you know, in the surveys there, speaking of support yourselves, was there an answer about that? Oh no, where did my magic spreadsheet go? Oh, here we go. There was an answer about people doing stuff on their own, or I guess a question. The company, are you certified? No, let's go find the one about people running it on their own, because Physium, if I'm pronouncing that right, was mentioning that. If you built, oh no, it was only building your own autoscaler. The survey, here's some sort of usage stuff that's interesting, but I don't think they did ask about public cloud, but did they actually cover other vendors? Let's see. Let's go through this real quick. What size of the company? What industry? Blah, blah, blah. What is your job function? What title? Oh. There we go. Oh, this is where I can figure out if someone is a manager. How many executives do we have? Not many. So actually, I can look at question 6. Let me note this down. Question 6 covers people's job titles. So I can use that for individual contributor versus manager ratio. All right. How often do you check in code? What are your release cycles? Maybe this is in part 2 of the data. Yeah, it might be because it's like tools is what's in part 2. Anyhow, I don't know where the question is about running your own stuff, but if you see the write-up that they have, you can go down to, or not down, yeah, you can go down to the, here's public clouds that people use. And the analysis there for you, Physium, is there's a lot of public cloud usage, basically Amazon, Azure, and then the other one, Google. And somewhere is they talk about hybrid and multi-cloud. Where did that go? So those are serverless things. They don't cover it in the PDF. So let's come over here because one of these goes over your public-private thing. What are your challenges? Can you currently use this? Future plans? Where was it? Here we go. So I think it's question 10 and 11. So here you can see, let me bold that for you. And this is over geographies, but you can see basically 25% of people have on-premises stuff, only on-premises. And then you have 50% of people have hybrid. In this case, what they mean by hybrid is private and public cloud. The next question is about using multiple service providers. So if you add those together, because this is only, so you have, let me impress you, not with my math skills, but with my Excel skills. Let me add these together. So you got 71% of people are using private cloud now, because hybrid is one of them. I'm goosing it a little bit for no reason. What do I care? But let's see, use private cloud, non-exclusive. There you go. Let me put this over here. I'll do some merge cells. Oh, who cares? So there you go. There's the answer for you there, Physium. Now I really got to wrap up. Hey, if you want to see the archives for all of this, you can go to cote.pizza or tanzutalk.com/videos. There's a playlist there of coming up on 2 years of these ridiculous videos that I do, including the little tiny ones, stuff like that. All sorts of things. If you want to learn about that Tanzu application platform I mentioned, you should check this one out. Actually, you're not going to learn anything. I just mention it. But that's fine. And with that, I should wrap up here, and we'll see everyone next time. Bye-bye.